Hello out there and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Omega Expedition. I'm Aaron Shower. I'm your host. Share it, like it, stuff like that. Subscribe, like, share, give me money, give me fame, give me fortune. What is the Omega Expedition? It's the final expedition, and it's the final expedition we're all going to take. Or it could just be the last time we go out and look for Bigfoot or something like that. It doesn't have to be that serious. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about lots of things. Cryptozoology, Sasquatch, extraterrestrials, ghosts, hauntings, the paranormal, the supernatural. Speaking of give me fame and fortune, call back to the intro. This one starts out with tarot cards. Why would you start with tarot cards when you have this entire plethora of topics to go through? Well, it's cheap and it's inexpensive, and we don't have a budget here unless you subscribe. Say fame, fortune. Fortune telling, that's the segue. That's where we start here. Mediums, psychics, some force that some people claim to be able to tap into out there. If you've heard things, maybe watching Ancient Aliens, you've heard of the Akashic Record. There's a collective consciousness in the universe that you can tap into, and you can find out information that you don't have readily available to you, perhaps even information about the future. Here in the Omega Expedition, we don't judge people. You can believe whatever you want to believe. You can be a skeptic, a hardcore skeptic, somebody who's maybe kind of skeptical, like me, would love to see some great proof, would love to experience something himself, or a hardcore believer who could provide some insight to people that are like me, who would like to experience something, because I am not an expert in any of this, and that's what makes this fun for me. First episode, I want to make it perfectly clear. I don't think we should judge people for their beliefs, whether it is pro-supernatural, pro-transcendence and afterlife, or atheism or anything like that. The skeptic's point of view. I think we can look at a lot of things and talk about a lot of different things and keep an open mind from every different perspective. We need that in the world right now. We need that in our lives to be able to have those conversations without getting entrenched. What's also important to me are your stories, because that's what means the most. Whether there's video, evidence, anything like that, audio, pictures, etc. But your individual stories of something that happened to you are more important to someone like me, because that's something that affects you. That's something that changes you. And when we go and start talking about fortune telling and psychics and mediums and divination, or trying to see the future, I think we're going to wind up is, no matter what you believe, there might be some benefits in pulling out a tarot card in terms of making decisions in your life, and not based on magic, but just helping you look inward and finding out what you really want in life. Of course, many skeptics are going to poo-poo this. Many of the religious would poo-poo this and look on it as something as demonic. I don't think that's fair, and you can have your point of view, and that's fair, and you may not want to even see this, but if you want to know more about what I think, just ask, and why I think that. But let's take a look. These are tarot cards. Bought these at Barnes Noble. I don't know anything about them. Look, what is that? What is that? What does heart chakra mean? I've got the heart chakra. I go through this many. They're big, really hard to shuffle if you keep them out. And there's different ways to read them, from what I've understood in my very limited experience. That maybe psychic mediums and those who do tarot card readings have an expertise in this. They've practiced this for years. They can sit down at a table with you with their deck of tarot cards and tell you exactly what everything means and how it pertains to your life. What if you're just a regular guy like me? What if you're just a regular-ish guy like me, and you just want the tarot cards and you want to do it yourself? Surely there's got to be some sort of benefit for it. So I went through this and I got some, and this is the second deck I got, because I got this. Let me show you this. This I understand. It's a guy, it's this, what is it? Disruption. If I see disruption, that at least means something to me. However, if I see the Queen of that, I don't know what that means. So that takes a little bit more time than I have an effort to put into learning those sort of things. So I have the Queen of Wands there, but the other deck kind of has more pictures. There's a little book too that tells you what every little thing means, the numbers, the colors, and stuff like that. And each of those things can mean something different to you. Forget about psychic mediums and fortune tellers and divination and anything like that. And this is what I realized when I started pulling these cards, that if I had a question, and as they suggest in the in the booklet that comes with it, to have a question in mind that you're asking. What is what is today going to be like? What is something like that? I think when you pull these cards, it reveals something, whether it's magical, supernatural, or not. Skeptics and the folks of faith that may see this as demonic or something like that, I think you should take a second look, because to me, there's no difference between drawing 3 tarot cards, which is the more common thing according to that little book, than flipping a coin. Now, that may anger some of the mediums and people out there, and that's not my intention. That's not what this video is for. It's to call into question your abilities and your experiences, or people who go get their tarot cards read. At the very basic, the very bottom, the very foundation of what could be the possible use of this outside of the supernatural. I don't want to get deep into the history of this and anything like that. I don't think that's the point here, but I'll go back as far as say, in Western culture, many people are familiar with the Bible, and one of my namesake, Aaron, brother of Moses, was a high priest, and he used a form of divination, and I can't remember the words. You can look it up in Exodus, I believe. If you want to pull out your Bible, dust it off, and you can see that he used divination in the form of two items that were in a breastplate that helped guide the decisions that the Israelites made. And that's really in the Bible. And that came from Jehovah God. So it's been around for a while. The idea has been around for a while. And you've heard various things, tea leaves that you see in Harry Potter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or just, meditating and going into a state where you can see into the future. Back to the tarot cards. What does it reveal? Even if you're a skeptic, even if you don't believe that you can peer into the cards and see something that gives you a glimpse into your future, picks out the correct lottery numbers, bam, you're a millionaire. Life doesn't have to be so grandiose. It doesn't have to be a big thing every time. We make thousands of little decisions every day, and sometimes we don't even want to make those decisions. And I'll go, at the very least, here's what I can say. Sometimes I don't know if I want to go to Taco Bell or McDonald's. So guess what I do? I get out a coin and I go heads, alien, it's Taco Bell, tails, it's McDonald's. I flip the coin, bam. Okay, I got heads, which was McDonald's. You know what? I don't really want McDonald's. I'm going to go to Taco Bell. So just the flip of the coin helped me look inside of myself and find the real answer of what I wanted to do for a basic decision. Could not these tarot cards, something like this, do that? And it didn't even give you more choices at that point. You're looking at 3. It says lay it out the past, present, and future, but maybe it can help you look at something more important in your life that you're having a hard time making a decision about. And instead of revealing what the true answer should be or what the future will hold, it helps reveal how you actually feel. Because maybe what's stopping you from making that decision is that you don't know what you want to do. And so using some sort of device like this is not a matter of fortune telling, but helping you look deeper into your mind or deeper into your subconscious, bringing it forward and going, now I know really what I do. And that was the thing I noticed right off the bat when I held these cards and I asked some questions. Did it tell me the future? I don't know. But did it help me solidify some of the things that have been jumbling around in my head? Absolutely. Could I have done that in any number of other ways? Sure. But these have cool pictures. The pictures, I don't want to read. Looking at it, if I shuffle these cards and I said, okay, what do I want to do today? I lay it out. We'll go from the top. I've got the heart chakra again. Maybe if you're a psychic medium who does tarot card readings, you should tell me if that's something. And I get moving on. Moving on. Okay, I understand that. We got a guy here. Moving on. And I get the third eye chakra. So I have 2 chakras. One of them is the third eye. I think it's up there. The pineal gland. Moving on in the heart chakra. Now, there's a bunch of different ways I can look at this. I got colors to look at. So maybe it's green because Taco Bell has lettuce in it. Moving on, these are, there's black around there. It has numbers in it, 466. I know there's people that think that that has significance in it. Maybe the address of the McDonald's is 466 something street. Or maybe because I have this and I sit there and I think about it, I'm like, maybe the choice should be that I shouldn't eat fast food and rather choose something healthier for myself. Maybe I look inward and decide that I can make some better choices in my life just because I took the time to sit down and think about it. And these cards help me do it. I don't think you get that from a simple coin flip, because if I flip it upside down, yeah, I might decide exactly where I want to go, and that's going to be the end of the decision making. Now, if I'm just going to go, I'm going to do what the coin says no matter what, hey, that's even more fun. Do a trip like that. You might not make it around the street, but you could wind up in New York City. Starting out, when we look at whether it's supernatural or not, I think we have to ask ourselves, does it even really matter? Is there some usefulness to it? So if I'm a skeptic, if I am, then I can't judge people who believe in this. And if I'm a believer, I shouldn't judge the skeptic, because there is usefulness in it should they choose to use it. Or maybe they're just always know what they want all the time. I don't find that to be the case myself, and I don't think most people do either. So there is some benefit in that, whether it's supernatural or not. Prosperity begins. Oh, if I go to McDonald's, maybe they'll give me money. Patience and planning. See, I look at a card like that and see patience and planning, and there's nothing supernatural necessarily about it, but it does remind me, hey, Aaron, slow down, be patient, because I'm not the most patient person in the world. Be patient, take a look around, take some breaths, and then maybe you'll make a decision later or something like that, and maybe you'll know what you want. So I think that something like tarot cards, or when we not going deep into psychic mediums and divination and stuff like that, or fortune telling, is a good place to start, actually, because it teaches us that we can find balance when we start looking at the supernatural. We don't have to be all in, and we don't have to be completely skeptic, because everything has some sort of meaning or something that we can take away from it. And as we start to examine other things in the world of the paranormal, or the supernatural, we can find this same balance in almost everything we look at, whether it's hauntings, whether it's extraterrestrials, whether it's cryptozoological stuff like Bigfoot and the Chupacabra and the Loch Ness Monster. I love that stuff. Remove all the judgment at the very least. And I'm not saying remove the skepticism or believe or want to believe. Just don't think of somebody as a crackpot if they have a pair of tarot cards in their hands. And if you do believe that this can tell your fortune or help you along in your life, understand that there are people out there who are just not willing to accept that. And I think we can all get along. But there is a benefit immediately that I saw by using tarot cards, not necessarily in telling my fortune, maybe. I don't know, because I don't know what the cards mean. That's on me. But at least in looking inward and helping me reflect, self-reflection, a little bit harder than I normally do, with a little patience and planning or something like that. If you have anything you want to share about tarot cards, or you think it's BS, or you're a psychic medium yourself and you want to tell me something, I'd love to hear from you in the comments or on the Twitter or whatever social media I set up, because I didn't have patience going into this. I'm just doing it. For the Omega Expedition, this is Aaron Shower standing here talking to you. Hopefully in the future we can do something a little more interesting where there's movement. I don't know what the next topic will be. I'll either use my coin to decide what it is, or maybe consult the tarot cards. We'll see you later.